What's up, everyone? We are back. Some playoff best ball. Haven't done one of these since before the season. We'll talk about the season, have some fun conversations. Let's do this. How's it going, everybody? It's great to be back. Great to be back after a long, fun season. Had a great one in the best ball streets. We can talk about that a little bit. Just dropped a Becoming a Best Ball Bro episode today over on the podcast feed. Hope we get some folks. I know that this is not as big of a season as it is in August when folks would hop in and we'd have tons of people chopping it up about fantasy football. But hopefully we get some. Hopefully we get some people in chat. We'll see. Regardless, doing some playoff best ball contests over on DraftKings. I really started yesterday. I hadn't done much playoff stuff up until yesterday. I did a lot last year, had some success, had more success last year in playoff best ball than I did regular season best ball, but I'll probably have a hard time repeating my regular season success this year in playoff best ball. But hey, never know. You never know. I've been getting a lot of top 3 picks, so I'm glad that I got the 4 spot here. I'm going to be changing my rankings up a little bit, so you guys can ignore that for the time being. I'm realizing as I'm doing more and more drafts what I really like to build. I might go Saquon here at the 4 if he's available. I've actually part of me thinks, hey, what's up, B Smith? Your handle always messes with me because it's Smith BK, and then but yeah, I'm realizing what I prefer and don't prefer. I think there's a chance that Christian McCaffrey is a little bit overvalued right now. I'm curious what you guys think, though, because I haven't really fired off any of these takes to anyone on planet Earth because my wife wouldn't listen to it. She's been sick, too. But she doesn't care about playoff best ball, and she's the only person I'm really talking to since the Steelers finished off that regular season on Sunday night with that big W. Haven't talked to Kitchen much about it. Had a long day yesterday of a lot of work. Brandon Gadula started at late round fantasy football yesterday. James Cook. All right, we're going to go. I've been going tons and tons of Josh Allen. So we'll go Josh Allen here. What's going on, CD22-T7T? Best ball drafts are back. That's right. Brian says, recently just got hooked on the playoff best ball, so here to get your thoughts on it all. I mean, look, I'm certainly not the expert in playoff best ball. I have my takes and my general thoughts, but yeah, we'll see how this is built. I mean, my general vibe is that I try to get a main stack. This will hopefully be a Bills stack, but that's, the Bills are interesting because if I'm not getting James Cook clearly, I'll try to get Shakir or Kincaid. I prefer Shakir a little bit just because Kincaid's been, whatever. All right, we'll go Adams here with this next one. I mean, I think a Bills Rams Super Bowl is very possible. So I'm fine with having the problem with the Rams is that they dry up really, really fast. And then you have to kind of get Parkinson or Blake Corum because you're not, obviously I'm not getting Puka and Kyron's gone. Would I stack Stafford here? I really don't want to use that much capital on multiple quarterbacks like that. JJ, when are you getting back on the Mario Golf grind? Bro, I beat it. I'm done. I scratched that itch. I am on the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 grind, though. Oh, yeah. Dawson Knox, most definitely. But I'm also just drafting and throwing out, the Brandon Cooks and Josh Palmers and whatever in the final rounds just to have guys, that are active and playing, hopefully in the Super Bowl and later in the playoffs. Oh, Brian Keith Smith. There we go. Okay. There's the full name. P-Trip, what's going on, man? Happy New Year to you. I really like getting Ferg late in the Rams stack, but without Stafford, it feels a little bad. I mean, look, I'm stacking Rams if I can stack Rams. You know, I'm gonna see what I can do. I also don't mind with Josh Allen getting Nico here, because they're on the same side of they won't play until the AFC Championship if they get that far. The problem is, like, we're gonna want to have an NFC. This is kind of a really tough spot right now. I'm probably just gonna go Nico. We'll just go Nico. Don't love this start. You know, I don't mind going with like a Seattle stack with Buffalo. That was a tough spot though. I've gotten so much. I'm really like, I need to not. We'll do more drafts after this one, because like the thing with playoff best ball is some of these drafts you finish and you're just like, well, that's a dead team. You know, it's I screwed that one up, and it's just like boom, 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 boom too, because there's only 6 teams in every draft, so I'm almost on the clock again. So I'll often reach for players too. Like this might just be a Shakir pick because. Or Kincaid. I'll probably go Kincaid to get the tight end. Because I can't go Jacksonville because they're playing Buffalo. Not really keen on just like randomly starting to get 49ers here. Could I go Philadelphia? Sure. If you go Philadelphia, you got to hope that the Bears win. We'll just go Kincaid to play it safe. Yeah, so Adams and Puka are really tough to get together now. I did get one yesterday. I got a Stafford Adams Puka team. It was okay. It ended up being okay, but it's not very common at this point. But yeah, I mean, this is to me best ball. Like, I don't really care that much about ADP. Like, you're not trying to squeeze out ADP like you are in your regular, you know, season-long best ball stuff. You're just trying to stack and get as many players on the same team as you can, while also making sure that those teams and those players aren't going to necessarily play each other until the conference championships. All right, we'll just go Shakir, getting both Kincaid and Shakir for the Bills stack. So we have Rams, Texans, Bills. Got a lot of Bills. So I like, if I'm gonna have another team thrown in here, it's gonna be an NFC team, and I think we could play into this idea that the Rams don't play the Seahawks. In the second round. Parkinson wouldn't be terrible here. I kind of want to go Seahawks though. Did Darnold go? Darnold hasn't gone yet. I wonder if I could go Kenneth Walker. We're going to try this. We'll go Kenneth Walker and we'll throw Darnold out there for the QB2 and kind of go from there. We could get screwed though. This could, I haven't done a ton of, have you guys gone so like, what's your guys' typical build for these? I feel like I'm usually like a 2-3-5-2 kind of build. Especially, you know, obviously Kenneth Walker's my RB1. He's not even playing this weekend. So we got to get something, get a body, which could be a Woody Marks, could be the Houston thing, right? See, Darnold doesn't scare me. Because I think that they're good. Like I think that we'll go Darnold, get a Seattle thing going. Like Seattle's good. And I feel, you know, yeah, that's what Omega's saying right now. It's a fine build. Do you ever go solo QB? Sometimes, yeah. Like Josh Allen would be the solo QB play. Because obviously If they make it to the Super Bowl, they make it to the Super Bowl. But I kind of like having options, you know. It's sort of like going 2 quarterback or 3 quarterback in a regular best ball. Last pick needs to be King Henry. Look at this. Is this David Kitchen with a random username now? With his long neck? Oh man, I'm not paying attention at all. Let's go Woody Marks. What's our wide receiver sitch? Okay. Let's go Woody Marks. This is the thing with playoff best ball. I try to do two at once earlier. It's almost impossible. My brain doesn't work like that. It's just too tough. All right. So we have 2 Texans. We only have Devontae as a standalone Ram. But I do think that so we're gonna need to get a Seattle wide receiver. I'm assuming Shaheed is still there. Jaden Higgins is still there for the Houston stack. AJ Barner's in play. But I kind of like the idea of going like Higbee to pair with Adams. I mean, it's a usable team. JJ, any circumstance where you're drafting anyone from the Steelers or Panthers? I don't understand why people think the Steelers can't win this weekend or on Monday. It's kind of weird to me. Like the Panthers, I don't think that it's really that necessary. But all right, let's just go by ADP. Let's just go Barner. I saw that Higbee went. We'll go Barner to get the second tight end and a usable piece. So we're kind of banking on Kincaid this week. Good matchup for him. And then we can get maybe like a Ty Johnson as the other running back. Banking on a lot of Woody Marks this weekend too in this lineup. Yeah, I like the Steelers to me, like they're only 3.5 point dogs. Panthers don't have a better chance than the Steelers. The Panthers are 10-point underdogs. What are we saying here? This isn't even my Pittsburgh roots coming out. This is just general logic. All right, I got to pick. I guess I should force it with probably like a Ty Johnson. I guess Rashid Shaheed is still there. Man, ADP is so hard to follow on here. Maybe Jaden Higgins. All right, what do I have to do? Let's go Rashid Shaheed. So we have a Seattle stack with a little bit of a Buffalo, or no, not a little, with a Buffalo stack. A random one-off Devontae Adams, could be worse. And then we have Houston, a couple Houston guys. So we'll see if Higgins is still there in the next round. Higgins and Ty Johnson would be a nice finish. But if I can't get Ty Johnson, I'll get Ray Davis or something. The Panthers don't have a better chance than the Steelers this week, in the wild card round. It's just, come on. I think there's a relatively decent chance the Steelers win. Like the Texans are better on paper. I think they're just like a better version, but it's in Pittsburgh. Steelers are great on Monday night at home. Mike Tomlin's never lost at home on Monday night. The Steelers have won 22, 23 straight Monday night games at home. Playing outdoors for Houston. I still think Houston wins. I'm just saying. I mean, that's why I'm drafting them right now. All right, we'll go Jaden Higgins. And then we'll finish it off, hopefully, with Ty Johnson, but we can get Ray Davis too. Like, I think that the Panthers get smoked. The Panthers are just like not a great football team. We'll do more drafts. What do you guys think of this one? Josh Allen, Kenneth Walker, Devontae Adams, Nico, Kincaid, Shakir, Darnold, Woody Marks, AJ Barner, Rashid Shaheed, Jaden Higgins. Yeah, the Panthers already beat the Rams. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it's like automatic. Like it was a relatively fluky game if you go back and watch that. The Rams were strong offensively. I think my hesitation with Pittsburgh is that if they win, is the game script going to create anyone of fantasy relevance for the Steelers? I mean, I don't think that we should be so like confident in our ability to project these individual games. Because even in like even a guy getting 10 PPR points, he could find your lineup in this kind of contest and be relevant. You know, that's the one. We'll go Ty Johnson. All right, this came together. This is a very standard build for me. Josh Allen, like I said, Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, and Ty Johnson as the Buffalo stack. We had a Houston stack of Jaden Higgins, Woody Marks, Nico Collins. We have the Seattle of Darnold, AJ Barner, Rashid Shaheed, and Kenneth Walker. And then we had the one-off Devontae Adams. I think it's solid. I'm cool with it. All right, let's go do some more. Let's go back to the lobby real quick. But like I was saying with here, let me find with the Steelers and like us being like, oh, are they going to have a fantasy relevant guy? You got to remember that fantasy relevancy in playoff best ball is a lot different than fantasy relevancy in regular season long. Like in a random week in a best ball environment, you're going to need multiple guys scoring like 20 plus points, but that's just not the case here. Yeah, Brandon Cooks isn't. I've been drafting Brandon Cooks. All right, I don't want to get Josh Allen again, so I might actually go like Saquon here if things go certain. Like the JSN stuff, I prefer JSN in round 2 when he falls, or at like the 6-7 turn. That's why I want to redo some of these rankings because I'm doing more drafts and I'm realizing what I prefer and what I don't. I also think that like there's some teams that like the Packers, I think, are just kind of undervalued for a team that could easily play 2 games, if not more. I mean, if they just upset Seattle. But like that game between the Bears and Packers is a pick 'em right now, essentially. And then I like Houston. Been getting a decent amount of Houston. I haven't gotten enough Jacksonville. That's one that I'm a little bit concerned of. I have so much Buffalo right now. Through my, I don't know, I've probably done like 20 to 30 drafts. I have way too much Buffalo. So maybe we'll diversify a little bit in this draft and see what we can do. I like going like, you don't like Cook over Saquon? No, it's just more so that I am trying to get a little diversification. I have him technically ranked, but at the same time, the more that I've thought about it, the more I don't think that it's like, I think it's a coin flip for the most part because Philly is more than likely. I mean, obviously they get San Francisco this week, who's been horrible against the run and horrible in general defensively. And then next week, if they were to win, they would, let's just say they get the Rams, maybe they get the Bears. Both of them could be higher scoring contests, right? And they're playing I guess in the Bears, they'd be playing in Chicago, but that would be a pretty decent matchup for them in general. Whereas Buffalo is almost definitely, not almost definitely, it depends on what happens with the Chargers, but Buffalo would be going to Denver, which is obviously not that great of a spot. Everything is a 50-50 chance, right? Happens or it doesn't. I mean, yeah, if you look at it that way, but I'm thinking about it in terms of probability. It just takes one good game too. Yeah, that's the other thing is that like when you get with this playoff best ball stuff, the reason why like I think Josh Allen is pretty valuable is number one. All right, I'm taking Barkley over CM. Oh my God. I'll just go ADP. I think CMC is overvalued. But I'll go CMC and just draft a CMC team in a 49ers team. But like one big performance, like I think Saquon could go nuts this week. He could have a great game. I think Philadelphia could have a great offensive game. And if you just have that stack and then you have, let's say, Denver on the other side, you're able to still advance because that's the stack that goes off. And then from there, then you get Denver the next week that you get them back, like coming back, because they're on a bye this week. All right, we got CMC. Let's see what we get round 2 here. I also don't love. San Francisco just scares me, man. It's not an easy spot for them this week. Philly's a tough matchup. I was hoping Drake May would be there. That'd been fun. I mean, I guess we're going Kittle, right? There's no real AFC. You know what? Maybe this could be no. Should we go RB? You know what? I kind of want to try something out. Let's just try something out here. Okay. We're going RB. We're only drafting those 2 running backs. And we'll see if we can get a little bit of a Jag stack going. I don't know. Let's just get a little weird. Why not? That's what this is all about. This is a very inefficient market. I think you just draft weird and sometimes you waste $20 and sometimes you're feeling really good about the differentiation. Maybe could have waited though. Maybe could have just gotten Kittle and then gone from there, but whatever. JJ, I'm sure you covered this already, but how did your best ball regular season turn out? It turned out really well. I'll talk about it in just a second. I mean, still getting Kittle would be nice, but I feel like I still got Kittle. All right, that worked out. The regular season best ball was great. In my 150, I did the Becoming a Best Ball Bro episode that dropped today. So you guys can go listen to that. Rich and I recorded that yesterday. And so I went through, talked through everything, talked about lessons learned, all that good stuff. But my general, my general vibe of the season was it was great. I advanced 47 of my 150 milli lineups, and I got 1 to the final, and that one finished 40th in the final. So I won 20K off of a lineup with Derrick Henry, which was fun. After years of always getting Derrick Henry wrong, I said to myself, I'm going to be higher than the traditional best ball bro this year on Derrick Henry, and it paid off in the playoffs. So it was a good season overall. I had a good redraft season too. All right, I guess we go Brock. Thank you, Jaquan. Appreciate it. You know what's cool about the team is that I drafted that team live on here. And so you can go back, you can go to my Twitter account and I tweeted about it like a week or 2 ago. But you can go and listen to and watch the live stream and see what I was thinking. Like whenever I drafted CMC in that draft, and then I got Derrick Henry in the second. And when I drafted Derrick Henry, I said, let's get weird. Let's get weird. Well, here goes Kitchen. I wonder why JJ was so high on Derrick Henry this year. So, I wouldn't say so high. I had like 7% Derrick Henry, which was more. The traditional best ball bro was like a 3% Henry, you know? I'll say this about the 49ers. They're easy to stack, right? This combo isn't that bad though. This Jags 49ers. Should I trade CMC for Judkins in Dynasty? Probably. Off the top of my head, I can't really think about it. There's so much going on with Judkins. I haven't updated my dynasty rankings yet. I need to do that today, actually. But it depends on what you need for your team. Like I think CMC probably has another year left of pretty good production. All right, we'll go Jawan. I mean, maybe San Francisco's the team, you know? Throw Parker Washington. Whoops. Parker Washington here. There's another team where I could have pivoted. You know, I could pivot to Bo Nix. I don't want to get a running back. I said that at the start. I could pivot to Bo Nix here as my QB2. I do want Jacoby Myers. Man, if I could just get maybe I might force Bo Nix. It's not really forcing because it's at ADP, but I might get Bo Nix next. Do you have any idea on when your 20K team was drafted? Like right before the season, earlier in the summer? I'm always curious about that. Yeah, I was drafted in on July 11th. Kitchen can probably confirm because he was the one who pulled the video. I think it was July 11th is when I drafted it. Yeah, I don't want to get RJ Harvey though because I spent early capital on running back and I just kind of want to hold with those guys at RB. All right. Do I push it? What does this draft board look like? All these teams have. Oh, that team has Sutton. All right, we're getting Bo Nix, and we're gonna really piss off the Sutton manager, Sutton drafter. So we'll go deep, like later stack with Bo Nix. Yeah, they still got RJ Harvey, so that's good. We'll see if Jacoby, because now I can get either Jacoby or Parker Washington, hopefully. Yeah, it's just really hard to answer dynasty questions in the middle of doing playoff best ball, like because these are so quick and intense. Because you have to think about so much more than in a regular best ball draft. It's just hard to answer dynasty questions right now. But I will have my dynasty rankings updated soon. Oh, Parker Washington, you turd. Doesn't even have T-Law. Just decided to go. You know, he just said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go with two Jags wideouts. So I'm gonna have to get Brian Thomas." You gonna be high on Washington next year? Probably not. Depends what his ADP is, though. You know, I don't know who I'm gonna be high or low on because it all depends on cost. Yeah, it was definitely another good year for late round quarterback. All right, let's look at some. I mean, we got Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Evan Ingram. We got, I mean, Pearsall's still there. He had that, you know, his knee flared up again. That's why I didn't really want to push it, but I could maybe get him in the next round just given the stack. But I feel like people might just allow me to. Ooh, this could be Brenton Strange. He just got drafted. Let's just go Pearsall and just get all the 49ers. And then kind of round out the team with some Broncos. I don't love, so to be honest though, I don't love this team because I San Francisco scares me this week to put up like a ton of points. And you're gonna need that this week to advance. And I paired them with Denver, which is a little bit scary. I do have the two Jags players, that's fine. But this is definitely a lower probability team. Yeah, I'll settle for BTJ after missing on Parker Washington was an impossible sentence to say if we were in August. I know. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. One of the things I'm definitely going to be working on over the next month is the year 2 model stuff. I feel really good about the prospect stuff and where the model's at, but the year 2 stuff, I think there's a lot more to uncover and work with. There's all May was a very obvious late round quarterback target this year. Obviously I hyped him up a lot. But there's always seems to be one. Jaden Daniels 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts was one, Josh Allen was one. All right, we'll go Troy Franklin here. And then we'll go Pat Bryant. I mean, actually we'll just go Evan Ingram because his ADP is higher. And honestly, the last pick is just going to be whatever we want. Probably a wide receiver. JJ, I started listening to you this year, and I like your approach and honesty. I only get your free content. How do I invest in late rounds in this year? Late round this year, I've looked but kind of confused. So there's a draft guide that you can get over the summer. There's a prospect guide that you can get in just a couple of months. There is the Patreon, which is a monthly subscription. $10 a month, $15 a month, depending on what you want to subscribe to. But also, if you pay for the year, you get it way discounted. And then, someone said get the draft guide. The draft guide is the thing that people probably go after most because it's sort of like an all-encompassing way of understanding the game the way that I look at it. A lot of game theory talk. It's like 200 pages long every year. Lots of players to target, players to avoid, all that kind of stuff. It should help you out at least during your draft and just kind of understand fantasy football in a different way. But if you want like more constant communication and rankings and stuff, then the Patreon is what you would want. If you're only interested in prospects, you can just get the prospect guide. Joey says, I've gotten the past 3 years and I always read them in the off season before the new one comes out. Love it. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. You were so geeky in a good way. Yeah, I am. I mean, I'll take that as a compliment. I'm definitely a nerd. I've been a nerd always. Love the game, all that kind of stuff. All right. This last pick could be anything. Like, I don't even know. Like, we have two very clear stacks. I'm trying to think if there's someone on like Jacksonville we can go after. I could just go after Shaheed, but the San Francisco's well, you know what? We could just do Shaheed and San Francisco or Green Bay could win. It would differentiate this a little bit too. Yeah, just get King Henry for the lulls. We'll get Shaheed. All right, recap this one. San Francisco stack: Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall. And then we ended up going with the late Denver stack with Troy Franklin, Evan Ingram, Pat Bryant, and Bo Nix. And then we also have Travis Etienne and Brian Thomas Jr., and then Rashid Shaheed as a random one-off on the squad. For if this gets through, probably should have not drafted. Probably should have gotten just a random player that could have helped this week. But hindsight's 2020, right? Let's do another draft. Love you say I'm nerdy in the best way. Or geeky. Yeah, I don't know why DK isn't removing the non-playoff teams. Oh, geeks are cools. Nerds play Dungeons and Dragons. There's nothing wrong with Dungeons and Dragons. I don't play D&D, but one of my best friends does. He loves it. I don't hate, if you're a D&D player. But yeah, I do think that like if you're looking to support me or the late round brand or whatever, I think the easiest kind of like introduction is the draft guide because it's a one-off product. You don't have to um pay a monthly fee or pay the year-long fee of like $100. And I try to keep price points fairly low because I want people to consume the product. I'm not trying to rob you guys blind. It's just not my style. I like I'm being genuine about that. I don't want to have like a, $500 fantasy football package when that's more than what your entry fees are probably for a lot of you for your fantasy leagues. I'm really doing this because of course I need to sustain a business, right? Like I need to be able to live and feed my children. Um but I try to keep the price points at a reasonable place for the amount of time that I work on all this stuff and what I know the value it brings. Like I feel really good about last year's draft guide in the end. There are definitely some tweaks I want to make, and I hired Brandon Gadula. He started yesterday. I worked with him at Number Fire and FanDuel for years, and hired him on to help me with some data projects and some, um, just everything from some content and to help me with research and to do research and to provide more content for you guys. And that's going to help out a lot. It's going to be awesome. I'm really, really excited for 2026. There he is, the best ball bro himself. I'm a lifer football guys, bro, but trying to diversify. Look, I love football guys. I love Joe and Sig and Kluge and Alfredo and Joey, like and Jeff. Like I love all those guys over there. So I'm not gonna hate on anyone for being a football guys lifer. Supporting a fantasy analyst is so hard because I love the content, but I also don't want my league mates to have it. No, I get it. Your highest entry fee for one of your home leagues. Home leagues, they're like 100 to 200 usually. But I did like main event team and like main event team and stuff this year. And then obviously you did a lot of best ball stuff entry fee wise. All right, maybe this is the Barkley team. Maybe we can finally get Saquon and get that going. I had like a really fun Philly stack by doing this, by reaching. Of course, Saquon goes. Of course, he goes. We're gonna go James Cook, or do we force the Adam Stafford? No, we'll go James Cook. I had probably one of my better years though this past year or this past season, the 2025 season. I won like 25%, like a quarter of my redraft leagues this year, which was sweet, including my biggest home league and my biggest dynasty league, which has a lot of overlap in the managers that are in it. So winning both of them, I'm gonna be relentless this year. I posted the video that I made for my home league, like my bragging video. Oh, let's get JSN and James Cook. This could be fun. The thing is though, we got to think through. This could be like a Houston stack. Also, maybe it could be just like a Chargers stack. Yeah, I'm gonna be completely insufferable. I made the video, the one video that I sent, and my one buddy said, "This is what did he say? This is exceptional and infuriating," is what he said. Jay, did you dabble in best ball drafts for other sport? No. I'm purely football. You helped me win 2 of my 3 redraft leagues, and one of them was a back-to-back championship. Heck yeah, Joey. It's awesome. Okay. So I need to think quarterback. Can't get Jacksonville. Don't want to do that. I'm just gonna put Kincaid here. This is so early for Kincaid. New England, and then we hope we could go New England here and just get Travion. San Francisco, maybe. We're going Jalen Hurts. Okay, we're going Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert. I don't love it because I was hoping to probably get Darnold. This can work though. This can work. But at least Philly's not going to be playing Seattle in round 2 if they were to win. So I got to win in a 32 team league this year. I mean, you gotta brag. You just gotta showboat for days, Brown Bear. You helped me lose 2 of my 3 redraft leagues, and one of them was back-to-back toilet bowl loser Kappa. I don't know, Ethan. I feel like you're just in a trolling mode today. That most of your comments have just been trolls. Are you going to the expo this year? 2 weeks earlier than last year, making drafts interesting. Yeah, I'll be at the expo. Could go double tight end with Kincaid. I might just wait for Buffalo, though, and get those cheap wide receivers. What's another team that I could stack here? Okay, let's think about this. I need an AFC team. Houston, there's just not many obvious players here. Don't really want to go Denver because Buffalo could play them next round very easily. Could hypothetically go New England. I might just force Shakir again. I think the Chargers can be worth it. Yeah. Like the Chargers work with this build. I actually like that might be the team that we go with. Since I have Goddard, I'm going to go Shakir. Two Shakir teams. Oh, God. This guy is autoing. All right. Now I guess we just go Kincaid. Yeah, the Chargers won't play Buffalo. Correct. So we have a Buffalo, Philly, little Philly thing going. We'll get Dotson later, I guess, with Philly. And then we have the Seattle stack. You know, we could go this could be the Lad, Justin Herbert. I'll at least put them in the queue. I'm worried about Chicago, B. Smith. I mean, it's a pick 'em basically at home right now. And I don't think that they're that great. I don't think they're bad. Like, obviously, it's been a great year for them and they have a bright future, but I just don't know. I genuinely think that's a pick 'em. The thing with what that I don't mind about the Chargers is that they are cheap, very cheap. I like New England to win, of course, but the Chargers are a cheap team. And what I think I'm going to do. Oh my God. Are you kidding me right now? All right. We're pivoting. We're just going to get 2 NFC quarterbacks. I'll take Walker first. And then we'll get Darnold. All right. There's the real-time pivot for you guys. So we have Seattle, we have Philly, a little quick Philly one, and then we have this Buffalo stack. So I still think this works. I still think it works. It's just it's a lot more fragile for round 1. We just like need Buffalo and Philly to do some work. I ideally want to have quarterbacks from both conferences though. Yeah, Stroud, Marks, and Higgins are a pretty good stack price wise. Houston still works for this too. And it's probably the direction that I'll go. I'm just not going to get Stroud because I don't want to get 3 quarterbacks. And there goes Jaden Higgins, which would have been the go-to. Could still get Woody Marks. Don't want to get Dalton Schultz. We can get Jalen Knoll. I think I might go though with the Chargers. Or I could go with the Steelers. I really wish these teams are drafting a lot of wide receivers right now. What if we went Steelers and differentiated a little bit? Because then we could get we're gonna go Steelers. Okay. And then we just got to get some wide receivers to end this. It's kind of a weak team. This is going to be one of those like need. It's going to be. I just need like the blow up from Jalen Hurts, you know. But let's get like Dotson and maybe like a Brandon Cooks or something. Or no, we can get. Yeah. See, I can't go. You know, I didn't stack Darnold. Or no, I did. JSN. What am I saying? So let's just get like a. This could be a team though that I also just get a player like. Is Ted McMillan still there? Nope. Just someone that could just get some points for us in round one. I don't mind like Jaden Reed, even though he would go and play Seattle if they won. I think I kind of just need that production with the way this team is. Oh my God, Jaden Reed just got drafted. Yeah. So I'm just going to have to take, I'll just take like let's take Brandon Cooks. I don't want to get Booty because realistically his projection isn't like so dramatically different. This one's not, I mean, this is one of those teams that if it gets through round one, I don't mind at all. It's actually pretty sweet if it gets through round one. But I do have some. I didn't get Shaheed there because I want production in round one, at least something. I want to see maybe Brandon Cooks is able to do something this week and just like catch a big play or have a one big play or something. I mean, the team itself is constructed properly, I think, but it's going to need a little bit of luck to get through round one, I think. Jalen Hurts, stacked him with Goddard and Dotson. James Cook got him with Shakir, Kincaid, and Brandon Cooks. We have two Steelers in Metcalf and Gainwell. And then we have a Seattle stack with Darnold, JSN. Yeah, Darnold and JSN and Kenneth Walker. So not terrible, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get through round one. That's what happens though whenever you take some of those, the bye week teams. All right, what time is it? Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Maybe I could get Saquon in this one. I'm sick of drafting Bills. What makes this different than DFS for the playoffs is that you're keeping the team throughout the entire playoff. And there's not salary. You're just drafting. I'm forcing Saquon at 104, guys. Okay? It's happening. Or Drake May. And then I got to work out after this. Dynasty rankings, I'll work on those today. Try to get those up to the patrons. He'll go 3 now. Seems to happen. I know. I'm prepared for it. These are fun to do though. The problem is just so hard to do a lot of them. Oh, here we go. Which one gets the Chiefs treatment from the refs? I'm not one of those guys. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I cannot believe that there are people who I saw Trey Wingo. I mean, I'll say his name. Trey Wingo had a video saying that the Steelers were lucky on Sunday because they made a huge mistake by going for it on fourth down at the end of the first half. And the thing that's so mind-boggling to me, it's the take the points crowd. Always take the points. You should always take the points. The crazy thing about that take is that, number one, it's a results hindsight-oriented take, yes. But number two, let's say they kicked the field goal and made it. The next quarter, in the third quarter, the Steelers had a 4th and 1 on the 2, and they went for it. And then what happened? They got it. Oh, yeah, there we go. We're getting Saquon. They got it, and then they scored a touchdown. So they got 7 points based on those 2 fourth down decisions versus 6 if they would have just taken the points. It was exactly BP. It wasn't the decision to go for it wasn't bad. It was a terrible play. They had Jonnu Smith going in the opposite direction, so they lost a blocker on the left side, and then they ran Kenneth Gainwell into 2 defenders. It just wasn't a good play call. All right, let's see what we can do here. I mean, if JSN's there, I'm taking JSN. If not, I'm taking AJ Brown. Oh my gosh, James Cook is still here. Sure. We'll take James Cook with Saquon Barkley. I need to get Jalen Hurts. Let's just get all these Eagles. I really wish AJ Brown would have just slipped. I mean, Nico is in play. We'll put him at the bottom. I mean, I'll put him actually. Okay, he just got drafted. The beginning of these drafts really shape everything and what you're going to do. This person might take. Oh, no, they have Josh Allen. You better not take Jalen Hurts. Got Devontae Smith, though. That sucks. All right. We'll go Jalen Hurts and then hope that Goddard's there. That was such a vintage Rodgers game, with the exception that he didn't lose because of special teams. I mean, it was one of my favorite games that I've watched in a really, really long time. I mean, I'm a Steeler fan, so that made it even better. But like, guys, Rodgers was like lights out in the fourth quarter with literal rejects, right? Like guys who were just completely dumped off by their previous teams. It was incredibly impressive. Just insane. All right, we'll go Goddard. Not a bad start. We got the Philly stack with James Cook. Let's think about another team we can go with. Buffalo. Could go Chargers. I don't want to get running back though. We'll see. Maybe Ladd. We could also go. Man, I hate that there's these running backs here in this range that I would love. Like Jacobs I could go with, or so you just kind of have to reach. That's why Shakir I keep going after Shakir because he's just there. All right, someone took him. That's good. I have no idea what I'm going to do here. Do I go Christian Watson? No, I want a man. I really wish. Can I? Is Lad there? Let's do this. Let's do the Chargers thing. It's a big reach for Lad. There's just no one else that really fits his build right now. This is the downside of going RB in these things because there are some usable running backs in like round 4, 5 area or 6. I guess I could have gone. I didn't want to go Chicago because they're going to play Philly. They could play Philly in the second round. All right. Maybe we just go 3 running back, even though we went RB. Let's just do it. I mean, this is just like a onslaught of insane running backs. Lad moves around. I'm not really concerned about that. And it hasn't really been like shutdown city because of that with New England. We sure need some wide receivers. I could still go Chicago. Oh, no, I don't want to go Chicago. I could go Christian Watson would have been good. I'm going to put this up there. QJ. This is tough. I put myself in a rough spot. I mean, what do you even do? I guess I'm just taking Justin Herbert. That all these corner people to not take the wide receivers. All right, so we got to get like Keenan Allen, maybe Josh Palmer, Dawson Knox if we want. Or no, you know what? I'd rather just go full on Chargers. I mean, I'm reaching like crazy in this draft. All right, we'll go QJ. We have the this is basically Chargers or bust. But hey, in my opinion, like I'm trying to do a high volume of these and I want to get exposure to everything, you know? Other than the Panthers. I don't really care about the Panthers. But like the Chargers can win that game against New England. It's not out of the question. Okay. Now we need, let's go Gadsden since he's highest here. We're on Chargers onslaught. And we got to just finish with wide receivers. We have 2 wide receivers. This is at the very least a very very unique build. Add another NFC for Super Bowl. I mean, we have Philly. We're kind of banking on Philly here. But Dotson does need to be added as one of the wideouts. Well, if the Chargers win, you guys will remember this team. That's for sure. All right, we'll go Keenan Allen. This is just a total Chargers onslaught. Nothing like throwing $20 at a Greg Roman offense in the playoffs like this. It started hot. It's just I do think that this is a good example of just like if you don't get that wide receiver early, it can ruin you because there are some okay enough running backs, and you're obviously needing to fill more wide receiver spots, and it's full PPR. It's a pretty mid team, but it's at least So we got another Buffalo piece. Chargers Eagles Super Bowl, baby. That's what we're going for here. Chargers meet the Bills in the conference finals, conference championship. But yeah, this is my last one. Kitchen's going to be doing a live stream either tomorrow or Thursday. I can't remember. But we're actually back with the show, the Late Round Fantasy Football show tomorrow. All right, here we go. We need these running backs to just carry round one, and we'll get 7 points from our wide receivers. Hurts, Barkley, McConkey, QJ, Goddard, James Cook, Amari Hampton, Justin Herbert, Gadsden, Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer, Jahan Dotson. It's we'll call this one very high variance to make ourselves feel better about it. You never know, though. Okay? You never know. Got to live a little, as David Kitchen has said. But that's it. That's it for the streams today. I appreciate you guys hopping in, talking, asking questions, doing some of these drafts. Always a good time. Hopefully you learned something. Even if you didn't, hopefully you had a good time. But yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@LateRoundFF. We will be live again this week to do some more of these drafts, and we will be doing the Late Round Fantasy Football show tomorrow at noon, where we'll talk about, playoff best ball. I don't even know what our agenda is at this point. But join us. It'll be a fun time. Thanks, everyone. Catch you next time.